So that if there was a way to figure out if the communication was going the way it's supposed to between the brain and the nervous system, that would be ideal. I mean, who wouldn't want their nervous system working better? I would assume that everybody that understands that question would say, well, yeah, my nervous system, I like it to work as well as it can. I like my brain to be as connected to the body as it can be. I'd like, if there's a way to close that loop and make it work together, then absolutely, let's do this. So, my story, I'm a teenager, and I always had, it should be called stomach burn. I always had an acidic stomach, heartburn. I didn't have reflux as an adult that it came up through my mouth, but I felt it a lot of the time. Even if I ate normal food, not spicy food, I just always had heartburn. So I, went throughout life, had my little antacid tablets, and then I heard about chiropractic, saw a pediatric workshop with a chiropractor working on little babies and kids and so forth with different things going on. And I said, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I want to do this. So I eventually ended up going to a chiropractor myself to get checked. I was asymptomatic, which means I had no symptom anywhere. Nobody had suggested to me, oh, by the way, Bill, maybe somewhere in your back there's a problem that you don't feel, and it could have something to do with the way your stomach and your brain are communicating. I would say, yeah, right, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't know. So I go get checked. And I'm in relatively good shape. I'm in my 20s at the time. When he touched my mid back, I said, actually that's a little sensitive, something going on there. And he said, yeah, actually that's a subluxation, that's a misalignment. So sure enough, he corrected that subluxation. And within 1 to 2 weeks, my heartburn, stomach acidity of 10 years went bye-bye, because all of a sudden, the safety pin had been from when I was a child. I'm going to end with a story that probably was where it all started and happened, and all of a sudden, boom, communication is the way it was supposed to be. Kind of makes sense? Pretty simple metaphor, but it's a very powerful one. So how would you know how your child's nervous system is working? Got a bunch of different pictures here. Dr. Daniel in a happy moment with a couple of his little nephews that are not in this happy moment. How are your children's nervous systems working? That's what we're all about. One of the highlights of my profession, my professional career actually, was to go to Zambia a couple of different times and be able to do adjustments over there as well. Through a program called Mothers Without Borders. Kathy Headley's the CEO, an amazing person and woman. A little plug for that. Look it up. It's awesome. Okay, my story in the barn. This is a true story. Happened to me when I was about 8 years old. My brother was about 6 years older than that. And maybe I was 10. So somewhere between 8 to 10. So we have a barn, and we lived in Maine at the time. Trying to make this look like a Maine barn. And there's snow on the ground, which is a good thing, as you'll see in a second. So I'm inside the barn. If you're a younger brother or a younger sister maybe as well, you know that there are times when you want to get away from your older sibling because they may or may not have a temper, and it may be better to get away than to stay. Well, that kind of thing happened. We were doing a little basketball thing in the upper part of the barn. I happened to do a little better than I should have, and things were going downhill. So I decided to go down the stairs, but he blocked that. I decided to then go out the window just to jump in the snow. I figured, heck, better take my chances that way. And as I was getting out the window, he grabbed a hold of my feet, and all of a sudden, I'm upside down. So here I am, second story, like that barn, and he said that he couldn't help it. He didn't know what happened, but somehow he lost his grasp. So boom, down I go and land on my head. So I remember going to the doctor. They stitched up my little head when I did have hair, and I said, my neck hurts a lot too. Because you think about that impact, however much you weigh between 8 and 10 years of age, boom, I go. And they said, well, take a painkiller, massage it, put some heat on it or whatever you want to. But yeah, nothing I can do for your neck. Stitched up my head, and there's no permanent damage there. Maybe there is inside, but anyway, outside there's not. But I never got adjusted for almost 20 years. So I was allowed for that to fester and have my safety pin cycle interfered with, even though it wasn't dramatic enough to say, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with my nervous system. I had the heartburn, I had a couple other things going on, And I am going to attribute that to one of those fun days that brothers had together. So my ending thing simply is to ask you to think about, what are you doing to help your kids? What are you doing to help their health? What are you doing to help your own health? And what do you think the status of your nervous system is? Are you in a state of ease, or are you in a state of dis-ease? And we're going to invite you to come in. Our logo is turn the power on, which means little light bulb, if you didn't notice that before, in our actual name of the office and our logo. And it signifies that when you come in, we actually help turn the power on in the body to have it function at a higher level. I have one more little gizmo that I'll show you here, and that's this light bulb. So would you rather have your light like that, or would you rather have it turned all the way up? So we invite you to come in and get checked out, or send other people that you know that you care about to come in and get checked out, so we can see if in fact their safety pin's working the way it's supposed to, or if we can help improve it. Thanks for listening.